Hey guys, welcome to yet another initial checkout video. This set is for the same owner that has the Westinghouse that I just recently posted about. He dropped this off at the same time and he asked me to check it out and see what I think. I do recall him saying that it turned on. I since cut off the power cord because it was disintegrating, but it was probably intact enough that somebody could have plugged it in. Anyways, this is a late 40s 7-inch Motorola. They made a whole bunch of these. It's the first set to sell for under 200 bucks. This particular flavor is the portable with the blonde Tolex type covering. I believe he does have the cover, but I do not in my possession right now. But otherwise, it looks to be in really good shape, aside from a few tears in the Tolex. Unfortunately, the original mask has drooped as they often do. Actually, they often look a lot worse than this. And they may look like, oh, we can just push that back up. That is going to be rock hard. So we'll probably have to figure out a replacement for that. But what I want to do in this video is pull out the chassis, give it a look over, see what, if anything's been done to it, and what the condition of all the parts are. Oh, and there is one other trifling detail. Is the picture tube any good? That would definitely be a deal breaker if it's bad. I also just remembered I picked up one of these sets recently. This may look familiar to some of you. On my St. Louis expedition, where I got the Protogram Duo View, I also picked up one of these sets. So this is what the missing lid looks like. There's a carrying handle and some clasps. And here's mine, where it had been cut up to be customized as a field strength meter. The mask in this one was completely melted. Now the picture tube is unsupported in front. So it's not just decorative. It actually supports the CRT, so you have to have something. Some guys have fabricated them out of some insulating foam or Cove vinyl molding, so it's not insurmountable by any means, but it's nice to have an original or a facsimile thereof if possible. Alright, let's get it up on the workbench and see what's inside. Now, since these sets are portable, they're meant to be either set down on the back side when you're carrying it with the handle, or on the bottom. We do have 2 feet missing. I have some other sets that need feet as well, so I'm going to endeavor to find a good reproduction source for these. I'll take one of the originals and get the dimensions out of it and see if I can find a modern equivalent. Now, these screws running through these feet aren't just there to hold the feet on, that's what holds the chassis, and that's why I'm taking them out. So these 2 that are already gone weren't just there for feet, those were holding the chassis in place. Now, one thing that's not original is this. I don't know what this is here for. Oh, what? What? Is this original? I have never seen anything like this before. But it sure looks stock. It wasn't quite attached right. It's supposed to go beneath or within, or be held in place by the screws that are missing. And it's hinged and spring mounted. And when you let go, it comes up and covers those controls. I have seen a lot of these sets. I've owned a few of them. I've seen many photos of them, all the different various models. I have never seen this before. Now, to be very fair, this very specific model, the VT73, I've only seen a couple of. But certainly my other example, the other 2 examples that I've had in my possession, did not have this. I have seen many photos online. I have seen many others restore this set. I have never seen this. That's wild. Now, this is a label I've seen before. So this channel selector does not have all 12 positions 2 through 13, and I think it has 8. And the reasoning being, and Motorola wasn't alone in doing this, the reasoning being that no market had all 12 stations. Heck, most cities were lucky to have 1 or 2 stations. And they generally wouldn't have adjacent stations. They wouldn't have channels 3, 4, 5 in one city. So Motorola, in their wisdom, thought, well, we'll just make an 8-position channel selector and we'll let the dealership set it up. So that's what this means. So this set was aligned for 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 11, and 13. And there's just the model. That is cool. So what's the point of this? Well, when it swings up, it covers up these controls. To keep prying hands away, I guess. It has rubber bumpers on it. Well, I will definitely post photos online and ask if anybody else has ever seen one of those. The original power cord was way beyond saving, so it is gone. We'll be replacing that. We have the back, though, with the interlock, which is cool. And there are ears on here, so you can wrap the power cord around it. I'm really curious to see what the owner wants to do with this set. So I'm pretty sure he got it in an estate sale or something like that. And he wants me to get it working, and he wants to sell it. For any of you not deep into this hobby, nobody's getting rich off of old TVs. Even if you get a set for free, paying to have it professionally restored, and then thinking you're going to sell it to make a profit, that's a tall order. Because often, almost always, it costs more to restore a set than it's worth. So, I like this set, though. It's growing on me. Because not only do they have that cool trap door thing I never saw before, it has this pan, which is often missing, that goes underneath the chassis, shields it, protects it. We have the ballast, the original ballast. This is what they originally came with. You can't see it, but it's a JFD up there. I think you can kind of see it there. I think Motorola outsourced to JFD to make these. There's coiled resistance wire, nichrome wire, something like that on some mica insulating wafers. This kicks out a lot of heat. It's there because it's a series strong set. The tube filaments don't add up to the full line voltage. It's there to burn off extra energy so the tubes can run right off the AC line. Talked about it a million times. There are a number of workarounds for it. Alright, what about the rest? From what I can see, this sucker is stock. This may have never been worked on, which would be kind of unusual. Easy way to tell is check out the tubes. RCA branded. Very likely that's been replaced. It's a Zenith, yeah. At least the back's been opened up and tubes have been replaced. Beyond that, we have one screw to take out. Here are the two original feet, so my quest is to find a vendor that sells these. It looks like they have a little injection molding mark here, so I thought these were rubber, but maybe not. But I would think a very hard rubber would be a good replacement. They do have some give to them. So I'll check out Grainger and other small part hardware vendors, and hopefully find something good to replace those with. See, the knob's pulled off the front. We can put this down now. Before I can pull this out, the CRT stays with the cabinet. So careful taking this off, because often these bases are loose, and this is no exception. I do not want to rip it off of the CRT. So I'm actually going to employ a small screwdriver here to help pry it off. Of course, we want to test the CRT. There we go. Oh, shit. And that's what often happens with these. Even though I was pretty careful. So sometimes if you just yank on this, the base of the CRT breaks off. But another very common issue is this pin came right out of the CRT. It's hollow. There was a wire coming up out of the CRT going to the tip, and it was soldered in place. And you can see there's a little black dot there. That's where the wire had ended. So I need to put that back on, solder it back on, put a little glue on there. It's a very common issue, no big deal. Now, one last thing before I can pull this out, I have to disconnect the speaker. Reach in there, and the wires going into the speaker pull out. And there we go. And that's it. Unless the internal antenna is also connected, and it is, so we need to disconnect that, which is kind of wild, because it probably means nobody has used this set in a very long time, because the internal antenna was still hooked up. Just a note here about the type of ballast to use. Earlier revisions of this chassis used a different ballast. That's it. So this one is copper plated. A lot of the earlier ones and later ones were not. It's a bit of insulation that would normally be up here, going between the CRT and the high voltage box cover. I've been talking a lot about adapter caps lately. This to me is one of the a perfect place to use it. We have 3 electrolytic caps, all mounted on phenolic insulators, all covered in cardboard, and there's a lot of wiring underneath. So, if we remove all these, use adapter cap, we can get these cardboard covers off, we can slip them back over the adapter caps. Voila. That's the most time-consuming part of restoring this chassis, in my opinion. Boy, I don't know if there's a single Motorola branded tube left in this thing. I don't think so. Huh. Alright. I know what you're all waiting to see is what's going on underneath the chassis. But before that, as always, reference photos on top of reference photos. It's only going to be untouched by my hands at least once, so I always take as many photos as I deem necessary. Not only to put it back together properly, but just to document what I found. Okay, it's stock. It has had 0 work done to it. I've seen so many of these. So for those of you who don't know, I had this crazy idea 5, 6, 7 years ago to start a database of these chassis, because they often have a serial number and a date. So this is serial number 59,988, January 19th, 1949. Revision TS4J. They made a bunch of revisions. There's the original, there's an A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, J, I don't think they made an I, probably because it might have been confused with a 1 or something like that. So, by making up this database of serial numbers and dates, I have a pretty good idea, given a serial number when it was made and how many were made. So there seemed to be about 100,000 TS4s made and 100,000 TS18s made. A TS18 was a slight refinement of this design. Now that might not seem like a lot to you guys, but in terms of vintage TVs going back to 47, 48, that's a lot. Probably more of these were made than any other TV in the late 40s. So 200,000 of this chassis that were used in a dozen different models. And yeah, that is as stock as I've ever seen one. All these caps are branded Motorola. Well, even the original masking tape is still there. This is the time capsule we're looking at right here. You can see 3 electrolytics up top here with 2 seleniums, so it's kind of tight to work in there. So the cool thing with the Adaptacap kind of idea, or restuffing the original caps, is we could actually leave these seleniums here. Otherwise, what often happens is the seleniums go, people reuse the mounting holes for terminal strips and pack a whole bunch of caps down in here, which is fine. I've done it too, but it makes it really, really hard to trace out the wiring because we have a 4-section cap, I think a 3-section, and a 1. Like 8 electrolytics need to get packed into this area. It gets pretty busy pretty quick. Well, I'll tell you what, probably will be a pointless exercise, but how about we try doing a slow start on this set. So I got it plugged into my Variac isolation transformer, turned on, do have a signal source hooked up. It is on, it is drawing current, which means the ballast is not dead. I'd be shocked if we got a raster meaning there's scan lines visible on the CRT, but we might hear some sound out of the speaker. Maybe we'll get some reception. That would not be unheard of. Current draws hold steady. I'm going to go up a bit. Ooh, turn it back off for a sec. I don't know if I reconnected the speaker. Plug everything. Let's see. No, I did not. Alright, hang on. Okay, speaker reconnected. Let's try that again. Yeah, we're starting to get a hum. Tubes are lit up. Damn, we are getting a raster. Fingers working. Let's see, I think I'm broadcasting on channel 4. So that's 2, 3. I think this should be right. Well, my box might be on 3. I don't know which. Not necessarily. Let's go up a bit. Voltage, we're at 110 now. current draws fine. We're like 3/4 of an amp. Well, hint of reception. Okay, that was on channel 3 before. Now I'm on channel 4. Contrast up all the way. Maybe that was too much to expect to actually get something. So that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Oh, and if any of you have ever seen that hinged control panel cover thing before, please let me know. Because I already asked around on Facebook, and nobody's ever seen anything like it.